Hello everyone, everything is pretty much trained on this agent now. We pretty much uploaded all of our files from Airtable into Supabase using our uploader. Completely refreshed all the information. We did do a couple more changes to the bot itself. We added these 4 tools. So I'm going to go over these tools with you real quick. So essentially what these tools do is they will search the products directly. So this is what we're going to get as an output. This is all of our product information. And that's just basically for oak. And it returns us 3 responses. So the way this is working is essentially we have our search term oak. Gives us back these 3 products. And then we'll set those products for these actual terms because we don't really care about all this information. And then what we're going to do is we're going to aggregate it all into one array. And this is kind of the output that we're going to get. So when we say, what do you have for oak products? We're only going to get back those 3 items. Now, as you can see, it's not really doing anything as far as the RAG for our vector store in Supabase. Just all purely on this N8N tool. Alright, so search all products pretty much works the same exact way. The only difference is we're not actually using a search term. It's just going to give us all 11 products. And we do this just, if somebody actually asks for all the products to be returned. Obviously, this works fine for this brand because they only have, 11, 20 products on their site. When they start to add more, then what we'll probably end up doing is we'll break it down by category or something like that. Because as time goes on, that's just going to get way too much for the AI agent to actually handle. All right. So the next one that we did is basically the same type of thing. It's searching for a post. So let's run this real quick. You'll see what it's doing. It's functioning very much the same exact as the products. We're doing a search, and for this term we're using oak. It returned 59 items, meaning that WordPress found that oak was in those blog posts 59 times, or in 59 different articles, I should say. We're setting the fields, so we're going to take the name, short description, and the permalink. We don't really want to do the image because, we don't want it to be too much when it actually returns information. In the agent, we pretty much told it only return 3 to 5 links to the blog post. And then what we're also doing is we're aggregating it into a single item. And then we're responding back to the main agent, which is that up there. All right. So the last one, I think is kind of cool. It's something that I realized that Typebot actually carries over. So let me go to the website real quick and I'll show you what I mean by that. Now, one thing I will say, as time goes on, you're not going to have to fill out that form every single time. This is just basically for basic training as it stands right now. All right, so hello, William. I am the Bravewood assistant. So it's pulling that directly out of that search term, which is kind of a pain to get out of Typebot. And then we have, hello, how can I assist you today? And I'm just going to say, what page am I on? Alright, so you're currently on the beginner's guide to waterproof hardwood floor installation page, which we are on that page. And as you can see, it's all because of URL to post. And essentially what I did is all I'm doing is I'm scraping that specific page using an HTTP request node. So let's run this real quick. So what it's doing is it's finding the specific page, pretty much pulling all of the HTML Then we're going to go to our HTML extractor. I'm taking the body, and then we're only returning text back. I'm also going to trim the values and clean it up a little bit. That way I don't really have to do everything in a function node. And this is what we get back as our response. This is everything from that page. And then we'll go back into our agent. Now, so you can kind of see how that actually functions. From that search term right there, essentially what happened is the chat was triggered. But the reason we're able to do that is because this right here, the metadata typebot conversation, is actually pulling the URL for us. Now that gives us a lot of different opportunities on this page to give us a better idea of what we can actually achieve with this bot. It means that this bot knows which page of the website we're actually specifically on. And obviously I added a little bit of training so it can go out and scrape other websites. For example, scrape HTTP Sorry, I can't assist on scraping external websites. I'll probably tell it not to say it is scraping at all because we don't really want that term to ever be involved in a chatbot. But that is just basically how it's working. All right, so as we're on this product, plain driftwood, what I'm going to do is go back to the bot again. And again, this isn't really going to be there in the final product. This is going to be a little bit more interactive. And our goal, honestly, is not to have it being sent to N8N every single time, because that costs us money. So we want people to interact with the typebot before they actually even get to chatting with a so-called live agent. So, all right, so now that we're back here, tell me a little bit about this product. All right, so it's going to tell us, it's pretty much just providing us a summary of what's on this page. And when we go back into our actual bot itself, we're going to have to refresh, I think. All right, so let's see what we have for our chat input. Can you tell? All right, there we go. I think this is the correct one. All right, so it is. We're pulling all the metadata in still. It's pretty much remembering it. So it's contacting our chat model twice, and then it's only using this tool. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, what we can do from here, if we go back to the appropriate page, and all right, it's this tab right here. All right, so what is amazing about this is it's pulling information from so many different places in our bot. You can install the plain driftwood by hybrid flooring. And then it's giving us, actual steps. So go into more detail and find me a installation guide. So we're gonna let that run for a second. Now, my thought is it's probably actually contacting, 2 or 3 more agents in the tool. And it's still relatively fast, but it gave us an actual URL to step-by-step guide to installing waterproof hardwood flooring. So when we click on this, we actually have our guide that the user that is using the bot can actually go to and read more about how to install a specific product. All right, so let's see. This is our first run. So what the first one did is it actually searched for the URL and then it pulled in the post. So when we go into our logs right here, you'll see the actual, workflow of the assistant. It pulled the below, it pulled the URL, and then it pulled the search posts. As you can see right here, we're still remembering our previous conversation. Tell me a little bit about this product. So it knows everything that we're talking about because everything's getting stored in this memory buffer node. Now, when we go into production for this, I'm going to actually delete this, and I am going to create another table in our Superbase and probably call it like live chat conversations or something. That way all that information stays in the database. It should be a little bit faster, and it's always going to be remembered because if the VM actually restarts in N8N, this information in this node will go away. So that is one cool thing about this. Now, let's go back and look at the last run. Let's see if we can get the vector database to actually kick off. So I'm just going to say, summarize the post for me. I'm going to be interesting to know if it actually uses the post tool or if it actually uses our vector store. Now, my thinking is it probably used the vector store because of how it gives us the link here. But let's check real quick. All right, so it looks like it might have actually only used God, that's the crazy thing. Half the time, it will not use the vector store anymore. I'm probably going to have to train it a little bit more to, give us a little bit more background information. Let's just see if we can... How would I install this gray... Oh, wait. We're not on gray oak. Install this for a living room. I have cats, dogs, and kids. Alright, hopefully that will actually do a little bit more in-depth information in our vector store. Hopefully. Still giving us a installation guide. And I think it's just because of how the conversation has been led thus far. That is, I guess, one of the downsides of actually remembering the entire conversation. But let's face it, it doesn't make sense to have a conversation without context. Alright. Oh, interesting. So, is that an actual link? Is an actual link, so it didn't even do anything. Let's just say I am not looking for a install guide. Now I just info about the best flooring for my living room. I have cats and kids. All right, let's see if we get back. It knows that we are still on the plain driftwood, which is nice. It is ideal. So let's see what it's pulling in for our context now. Kind of curious. It's still pulling all the information from the history from our last chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm honestly just going to copy this And I am going to go to the home page real quick. Just, start a new chat assistant. All right. I guess it's a different email. Doesn't really matter. All right. Let's see what we get back now. Oh. All right. So, gave us very much the same response. All right, so now it is actually going into the vector store to find that information. All right, so that is kind of cool. Can you tell me what the can you show me best products that you have for that? And, the crazy thing is it still knows the context of our conversation. So it already knows what we've already been talking about. So that's what we got back for our response. Natural clean. So let's just say, let's just copy natural clean. Tell me more about natural clean. All right, so it does that. Now, one thing that we probably can do is, and I'm not sure if the client will even want this, but we could probably even say, hey, I want to buy that. And let's see. I don't actually have any of the products to be able to buy right now. I haven't set up pricing and stuff, but the cool thing about WooCommerce and all the systems like this, it gives us a unique URL that we can actually set up, bring us directly to the checkout. So we can actually say, hey, I want to buy this product, and it'll generate that URL. Once they click on that URL, it'll automatically apply that to the checkout. And we can even do stuff like adding coupon codes and stuff like that directly to the URL, and all of that can be accessed to the chatbot. Now, let me show you a little bit of how this handoff is actually functioning right now. So, this is what it looks like in the code node. So essentially, all this right here is getting rid of the typebot bubble. We're just going to pretty much close it as soon as our N8N chat widget comes up. This is just providing basic styling. And this is adding the styling to the chat. Now right here, this is actually contacting this chat URL right here. That's the webhook, essentially. And then it's giving us this metadata. Now, we can technically add more metadata into the system to have better context of what's going on. So when we go live, we probably will. All right, so right here, this is the initial message that we're getting. We're using our name. Hello, username, and then I am Bravewood Assistant. How can I help you today? And then we're doing the title. That's just at the very top. We're here to help you 24/7, and then type your responses. What's in that last part? All right, so this last function really is just to open up that initial pop window. Now, most of this was done with, I think it was done with ChatGPT, but I'm not positive. But anyways, all we did was we fed it all the information for the N8N chat information, and we also fed it some information about typebot. The hardest thing to understand about this was these right here. Now, when you're actually working in typebot, all right. This is what a placeholder typically looks like. And when we were doing it, essentially we would just get back a bunch of random characters which is the actual ID of that value specifically in Typebot. So these placeholders right here, these variables, it was just giving us the actual ID of this particular variable without actually giving us the specific information. Now the cool thing with all of this, we can save all this stuff into memory in the system, and it will remember who we are. So if we go into system settings, we can pre-fill everything, and right here it says remember user. This is pretty much being stored from the session data in your browser. So if you've been on our page, communicated with us before, and you haven't cleared your system cache in your browser, it's still going to remember who you are when you come to the site. And you know, it pretty much will give us typing emulation and all of that basic information. Now this one has been pretty much just adapted from another chatbot that we're working on for a contractor, but you know, I guess I can just show you how that works real quick. So this is a basic chatbot for a contracting business. So if we click start, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually build this out for the specific e-commerce brand. Like get a quote. Instead of get a quote, we'll probably have, you know, buy our products or learn more about our products. And we'll probably get rid of, you know, plumbing services. View our location. All of this stuff can be easily filled in. Now with get a quote, if I click on that, what it's going to do is it actually routed to a different chat window. Where is it? I can't actually jump over to it real quick, but essentially all it's doing is going to this one right here. And I'm doing it this way to keep everything clean. That way everything doesn't get overcrowded. That is the worst thing I hate with especially tools like this, is people build these massive sophisticated workflows when it could be organized doing something like this because the system allows for it. If you guys are interested in learning more about this and would like to implement this for your specific e-commerce brand, let me know in the comments below. Be more than happy to get you guys set up with it. Thanks, guys.